Alright, fellow Kaijudo duelists, this is Chris here from Team Squeaky, now at Kaijudo Central. Just kind of wanted to do a video. It's like 7:15 in the morning here on the Pacific Coast on Sunday, March 17th. Um, my animals have made sure that I don't get to sleep in this morning. So thought I'd kind of come downstairs while the wife was sleeping and do a video about the Dragon Strike Premier Event and give my thoughts on it, and also talk about Clash the Duel Masters Premier Event and maybe what WotC can do in the future and the conflictions with game day and stuff like that. So without further ado here, so I went to two events yesterday. I went to Comic Cube's Dragon Strike Premier Event. It started at 10 o'clock in the morning. Um, we did Sealed first, which was basically just kind of like a fun event. It wasn't a tournament or anything else like that. Uh, what the dealer did was that he gave out the starter decks to everybody. Then you got your promo, obviously. Then you got your card, and then you could do one of three things, or four things actually. You could do nothing and just play with that to kind of get the use of playing Kaijudo and understand it. You could add a pack of DSI for $4. You could add 2 packs for 750, or 3 packs for $10, right? So depending upon what the player did, they got to alter their deck a little bit, and then we just kind of got separated out. The more experienced players like myself, um, we got paired up with new players to help them learn the game and teach them how to play it, and just kind of be a really good ambassador, hopefully, for a new player. Um, and so the player that I got paired up with was a kid named Logan. If you check my Twitter, I've got a picture of him. We shouldn't call him a kid, but he have taken in on the Twitter picture shows him drawing a dragon after our match play to get his extra credit, so he could get the water, get to the 10 achievements and then get his water dragon promo. But yeah, so it was really kind of cool with that particular piece. We all kind of got shifted around. I played another new player for a match, kind of teach him. Although he was a more experienced TCG player overall, so it wasn't too much. It was kind of basically just introducing him to the game. Had some pretty cool games with him. I felt kind of bad playing them because when I bought my 3 packs and got my starter deck, it was I got the Fire Darkness one. And when I opened up my 3 packs, oh, what did I get? Infernus the Awakened. And so, yeah, Infernus the Awakened in Limited, or especially in that particular arena, really good, because once it comes down, you just pretty much just almost lock the board down. It was pretty much over each game. So I kind of felt bad playing it against them. Simply at a point in time, I wanted to sit there and play it so they could see the new card and see the interactions with it and things like that. It didn't dissuade either player. They ended up. I know the one kid, Logan. I should be, like I said, I shouldn't be calling him a kid. Well, he's a teenager, but nonetheless. One guy, Logan, um, got him very excited for Kaijudo. I know he's going to continue to sit there and play. As you guys know, you get the Rise packs, right, for teaching a new player and things like that. Well, dealer ended up handing me the Rise pack, and I'm like, I have everything with Rise. I have a playset of everything plus. And so I ended up taking and handing the kid. I'm like, you know what, dude? We're going to play Kaijudo today. Here, you get this pack of cards, right? And so the players that were next to me, they kind of saw that. They're like, oh, that's kind of cool that you did that. And so that we're all watching the kid open up the pack and that. And what ended up happening was the kid opened up, and amazing, he gets a Scaradouble of Gloom Hollow, and he gets a Scaradouble of the Hunter in the same pack. I mean, mind you, the Scaradouble of the Hunter is not all that great of a card, but being Team Squeaky and I just gave away a pack that gives away 2 squeakies, and a really good squeaky at that with Scaradable the Gloom Hunter, or yeah, the Scaradable the Gloom Hollow. Um, that was just amazing. I literally put my hands up, like this, going yes, kind of celebrating it. Uh, the owner, he kind of came by and he's like, "What's going on here?" And I told him, we all kind of told him that. And so I guess he went to Mike and told Mike, he goes, "I probably need to bring Chris $20 next week, or when I see him again." And Mike was like, "No, dude, you don't have to do that. That's all about being an ambassador and stuff like that. It's about what our teammates about." He goes, "I'm sure Chris doesn't care. He's happy that he's got a new Kaijudo player, and the kid's happy that he got a Scaradouble, Blue and Hollow and that." And trust me, I am. I gave away the pack for a reason, so if it gets more, made the kid happy, he's going to continue to sit there and play Kaijudo and that, and come every weekend that we're going to have a, tournament, then it was all worth it. So that particular piece was good. So then we moved on to a constructed tournament. We started it a little later, almost about 1 o'clock, and I had to get to the second Premier Event by 4, so needed to move a little quick with it. So anyways, so played a constructed tournament. We had, so for the Premier Event, we had 16 people, just so that everybody is aware of that. WotC, we had 16 people, really good. There, we had 12 for the constructed tournament, and that's just because we had some players, the 4 that were, ended up leaving. They came, got the cards and that, and they really didn't have anything else, and they didn't feel like, playing that in a constructed tournament, which I get. Myself and Mike, we really only had X amount of decks we could hand out for anybody who didn't have a deck that to play constructed. And so, but most players who were already there already had constructed decks, which was really cool. So we had 12 players. I had to hand out an extra deck, and Mike had to hand out an extra deck. Larry wasn't there. Larry was at work. Larry would show up for the second event. So I ended up playing a deck that I've kind of talked about, but I've not shown online. I've kind of showed how it's kind of evolved with the different sets in different ways. It's called the Kree, and so I ended up playing that. It is a dragon deck, and I ended up going 4-0 in match play, 8-0 in gameplay. Played against Mono Water, played against Lightwater Darkness Related Reserves, played against Lightwater Darkness Cobalt, and played against Dark Fire Nature, Dark Saberbolt. And so those are each my rounds in order. And so really, Decree did really well. Was very happy with it. Nothing really bad to sit there and say about the deck at all. It just hosed whatever got in front of it. So got good results there. Going to continue to sit there and play it, test it through, get it out to my teammates and that. I may down the road show it on video or post it out there, or I may keep it hidden just because of organized play and the Kaijudo Masters Championships and that. So, but either way, something will happen. I'll eventually probably show it, but depending upon how it rolls out. Anyways, so got to my second event at Fantasian Comics in Federal Way right after that. Much smaller turnout, and that tends to be, I think, more because tend to be having to regrow the community there. Got it up to 12 people at one time, and it fell back down. I had 4 people, then 4 people showed up later that for some reason weren't checking my emails. But now the guys like, here, go to this email, send it to here, then we'll be back and showing up and stuff like that. So that's good. Had one group of players already told me they weren't coming up. They weren't going to be able to take an income up for it. Another group of players I thought were going to show didn't show. They text messaged me asking me if I was going to do a constructed tournament. I said if I have enough players, yes. If not, I'm following WotC's rules with how this thing should be run. And so it was good though because the 4th player was a brand new player. Myself, Mike, and Larry, we played a big multiplayer match to kind of sit there and show the game. Had fun that way with the player, and just had some good talks and stuff like that. So While not the biggest event, it was, a fun event, and then the players, meeting some old players that obviously weren't paying attention to my emails, or just not getting them, saying, hey, here's this email, we're going to get back into it, get us this, so we can start showing up. That was really kind of cool, so that'll generate out some more players for that particular store, and just working to sit there and grow it, right? So, yeah. So the next particular piece is, everybody knows I sent out a tweet. If you haven't seen the tweet, well, follow me on Twitter at CCLAYBERN. I sent out a tweet about the Clash of the Duel Masters Premier Event, because now your dealers can take and sign up for it, right? There's a problem though with it for very small stores, okay, that don't have a lot of space for gameplay, and that is that it's on the same day as Dragon Maze game day for Magic the Gathering. I don't know why Watson did that for the smaller stores, because obviously the priority is probably going to be Magic the Gathering, to be quite honest. There are just more players right now for them than there are us. And so it's causing conflictions, especially with my store, Fantasia Comics, because she just doesn't have the game space. And so, I know she sent a letter out to Wizards and to her representative. I know I was going to get a hold of Wizards and be like, are you guys sure you want to do this? I get it that you might want to have it the same day or there so that you have players playing Magic and then they can see Kaijudo and maybe try to shift over and test the game out and stuff like that. But for stores that just don't have the space, I don't see how it's going to work. Stores want to run it, but obviously it's a free event where game day is a paid event. So yeah, I think that needs to be rethought out by Wizards. Hopefully they're watching this video, because I think it's going to affect a couple stores. I was even talking to Comic Cube over on Bonnie Lake, and the owner was telling me that Kaijudo would have maybe 2-3 tables in the store, but the majority would have to go to over to game day for Magic the Gathering. So that's definitely something that I think Wizards, you guys need to retake a look at, just because you do have these dealers who have much smaller floor space that can't run dual events at the same time. I talked to, luckily my shop at Fantasium, and they're gonna hold theirs at noon, so hopefully it'll be over by 5 o'clock, which means I could probably start dual day or the premier event at maybe 5:30, but I would only need like an hour and a half for gameplay for Kaijudo to get people to teach and stuff like that. And I can do it, but it's not going to be the event I think that they're looking for, that they want to take and do it. And I know that Comic Cube was telling me we'll just run it earlier in the morning like we did, 10 o'clock, and then at like noon or 1 o'clock I'll switch over to my game day. So I'm trying to work different situations there, and dealers, you may have to take and do that. Players, you may have to bring that to your attention of maybe starting early, starting later. For these different stores, they're just smaller, but you need to keep that in mind when you're thinking about the Clash of the Duel Masters Premier. So, WotC, please take a look at that in the future, because I think the other thing is too, and I've been talking to different players around the country, and even myself here in the Tacoma, Seattle area, is that Magic the Gathering and Kaijudo right now really don't mix being together. And to be honest, I'll sit there and I'll say this. I may get black about it. I may get, people chiming in saying, yes, I agree to this or whatever. But it seems that Magic the Gathering players are bullying Kaijudo players. And what I mean by that is that, and I see it a lot, although even though I'm an adult, is that the Magic the Gathering players just have a problem with Kaijudo players in certain areas. I'm not saying it's all areas. I'm not lumping all Magic the Gathering players into that group. at all. But there are some that tend to be bullying the Kaijudo players, and I've even heard, I don't want to say where this came from, but I've even heard the possibility of Magic the Gathering players telling a store owner that, well, if you're holding Kaijudo here, we're just not going to play here anymore, and holding that dealer at bay almost. And so, and then I saw the comments on the video from the Magic show that Evan does, for SCG coming from Magic the Gathering players. And so I don't think having those two groups together is the best thing right now, just because I think Magic the Gathering players, while they should have no fear of Kaijudo, it's a completely different game. You got a completely different player base, and that they feel threatened. I've always seen this with Magic the Gathering. They feel threatened by a new card game that comes out just because they don't want their player base taken from. It tends to be more of a power play by Magic the Gathering players because they want that prize pool to be really big, and they don't want to lose those players, even though those players may not be all that great at Magic, and they're throwing money into it because they love the game and that they just have fun. But they don't want to lose that player base to Kaijudo because maybe they'll find Kaijudo a lot more fun, or they're being able to be more competitive in Kaijudo because their playstyle maybe works there a little bit better. And so it tends to be a bullying issue almost, I think, at times with Magic the Gathering players versus Kaijudo. Like I said, I could be wrong. I'm not, but in some instances where in my local area I've seen it, and I've talked to players around the country and that, and I'm hearing similar things about this. So, Watsy, maybe that's something, like I said, you need to take into consideration there. So yeah. Anyways, though, that's me just providing that little bit of information. Overall, though, I love the DSI Premier Event. I thought it was a great idea. Had a bunch of fun, had a blast, had a whole bunch of new players come in and test out Kaijudo. You know, giving them my constructed deck, and Mike giving them my constructed deck, they could actually see what the game's actually really about, and watching other people who had constructed decks. And you know, I feel that the community is going to grow further at a couple of different at that location, and you know, hopefully with Phantasm I can regrow it and get those players and get everything moving. So yeah. Anyways, though, so that's it. That's my information and video on the DSI Premier Event. So, alright, this is Chris, Team Squeaky, here at Kaijudo Central now. So, later.